The Sciforror Film Podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sciforror Film Podcast. I am Andy Walker and I'm here as always with my son Scott. Hello, Scott.
Hello there.
Hello to you. Yeah. So, how you doing?
Yeah, not bad. Just yeah. All right.
Okay, very good. Fair enough. Yeah. Okay.
How are you? Sorry, how are you? Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm yeah, I'm all right. Just, um, having had an afternoon,
An afternoon.
yeah, an afternoon out at the seminar to watch the latest Final Destination film, which I enjoyed immensely.
Was it a weird factor, the fact that you've taken your not so youngest out just to an 18 film?
It was, yeah, it was a little bit odd taking him out, but yeah, no, it was good. It was good. There was actually even one point. It didn't scare me. It wasn't a jump scare. It was just took me by surprise a bit because, without giving away too much, there's somebody who dies in it, and I wasn't expecting them to die when they died. So it kind of made me go, "Oh, I wasn't expecting that."
Yeah,
So
fair enough.
quite interesting. But no, I thought it was a very good film. Let's say with Tony Todd's last film, he isn't in it that much, but what he does in it is fairly significant. And
Yeah,
I did like the fact that there were kind of links back to the other films and little nods, of course the most iconic of them being the fact that a few times in the film you see trucks with logs on the back of them.
you know what though? I will say, out of any advertisement I've seen for any film,
Yeah,
this one they actually paid people with logs and trucks to drive around with Final Destination plastered across it. Now, for my generation, I know that, and I know there are so many people out there that film terrified them. And even when I was driving and riding my motorcycle, I refused to go anywhere near it. You know,
yeah.
as soon as I saw one on the road, I backed off so much that you could have fit like an airplane in between us.
But that was quite good seeing that sort of thing, and let's say other sort of nods and links back to the other films and all that sort of thing. But this is a film in its own right. It's not really. It connects back to the others in a way, but it's.
Yeah,
But anyway, it's a very good film. I would recommend it to anyone to go out there and see it. And there were a few other films on the trailers that looked interesting. Weapons looks the interesting one, where a class of school children get up in the middle of the night and just walk into the dark, and then the next thing you see is them running, creating mayhem through the town.
yes,
That looks interesting. There was one which is called, what's it called? Dangerous Animals, which looked very interesting. It looked like a serial killer who kills by feeding his victims to sharks.
yeah. There's this year and next year, I would say, from what I've seen trailer wise and
Mm.
announcements in faith that both horror and sci-fi films that are coming out are going to blow up massively if they do as good as
I mean,
well as they should do.
you got Megan 2.0, which
Yeah,
I'm not sure about. Megan was okay. It wasn't greatest film I've ever seen, but it was okay. I'm not sure it needs a sequel, but they've made one anyway. There was an interesting one called Together,
Okay.
which is weird and interesting in as much as it's about this couple who kind of are, I think by some kind of curse or whatever, are attracted to each other, and not just like they fancy each other, like they can't actually get away from each other if they touch and things like that. So that looks interesting. Also, problem with trailers is sometimes you go and see the film and you've seen all the best bits in the trailer.
Yeah. I will say that obviously there's a few ones coming out. And I'm looking forward to. Is it Black Phone 2 is meant to be coming out at some point,
Yeah, Black Phone 2 is
which is
supposed to be
good.
coming out, and is it 28 years later?
Yeah, 28 years. 28 years later confuses me because of the fact that, apart from the fact that it's the same zombie apocalypse thing, there's no one in it from the original films anyway. Well,
Well,
that's
no,
actually not true. Killian Murphy's zombie can be seen.
but that's the thing, is like 28 years after the first one, there wouldn't be that many people left around, would there?
No,
Realistically.
no. I was
But
saying
yeah,
the films that are meant to be coming out for the next sort of year and next year for the horror and sci-fi things is going to be interesting for
yeah, definitely.
what's coming out. And that's without all the like short films and like B movie films and all that we watch as well. It's going to be quite an
And
interesting year.
and also all the it's not taking into account all of the Marvel and DC films that are supposed to be coming out in the next year or so. There's a few of those. Anyway, onwards and upwards to our well, no, our episode of the whenever we do this thing. I know what I'm talking about. I've gone. Um, Two short films and a feature film of the horror variety this week, or this episode. The first of our short films is from 2025, and it is called Luz, a Witch Story. It's the director is Julie Roy, and the writer is Julie Roy. The cast is Francesca Bersinas, Rhea Haydar, Miriam DeVerga, and Genevieve Bu Bouving Russi. I think it's Spanish. Not
Yeah,
sure. Can't remember. So the synopsis for this film says Luz is an ambulance driver. Her work brings her to discover the inert body of Dorothy. That's when her dreams reveal the identity of the murderer, a malevolent woman who pursues her. There follows a duel between the two women where the supernatural mixes the light with lightning. Now, I'm not sure I really understood this.
oh, I'm so glad I'm not the only one.
And I didn't read the synopsis first. And even after reading the synopsis, I'm not quite sure it fits with the film I watched.
No, it's a very bizarre film. I think
It is very odd.
it's yeah, and it is. Again, I did the same thing as you. I watched the film. I sort of do what I normally do. I watched the film and then sort of like I thought I'll read the synopsis see if that makes sense. And after that, I was a bit more confused. I was more confused than I was before it.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's got a lot of atmosphere to it, but not a very clear story.
yeah, it's. I think the effect of it is good, but the storytelling needs work. Like the actual, like you said, the atmosphere build up, the atmosphere, like the lingering of it was good. The actual portraying of the story and what the hell was going on.
I mean, it's a well-made film. The acting's pretty good. It looks good. There's some good effects, but I mean, it's not a bad film as such. but it was just a bit unclear for me what was going on. It was more, as I say, it was more atmosphere than it was and feel
Yeah,
the story, and I didn't quite understand the whole cakes falling from the sky thing at all.
no, I think that it's weird because I think there was some good ideas in it. There were some good, unique ideas, and I think it was they tried pulling it off in a reasonably unique way, but I just don't
Yeah.
think it fit as together as well as they were hoping.
Mm.
But so it's not a bad film, but it is very confusing.
Yeah, it doesn't really flow enough for me.
No.
Okay. The second of our two short films is from 2024, and it's a film called Get Out. It's on Creepy Rita Films.
Love them.
Yeah, I don't have a cast list or any list of who made it as such. The synopsis for this film says it's the story of a young woman who finds a sinister message on her apartment door. She dismisses it as a cruel joke and pays no attention, but terrifying events begin to escalate.
Yeah,
Um, it's a decent film. It's well made, well acted.
yeah,
I think the editing was very good.
yeah,
Um, and there's some fairly decent effects on that. It's just not a completely original idea. Seen things like this before.
yeah.
Um,
I think I think the problem is we've got to that point in horror films the fact that if you come up with a unique idea, it's a shock. There's so many films out there that have done so many different things that it's now trying to find that uniqueness. And I think this, like you said, yeah, this has been done a few times before. But yeah, I agree with you. Like this, the effect, some of the effects to the cinematography, I thought was all right. I thought it was a good film, but it's just not an original one for me,
no,
and it's a shame because I think that if they sounds bad, I'm not saying if they had an original idea, but I would like to see what they do if they had that ability to go, this is brand new
yeah.
without it's sort of going, I've seen this before.
Yeah, I mean, it's not original, but it's fairly well done, and there's a good build up of tension in the film. And as I say, the editing really kind of makes it work. But yeah, and, again, it's not a bad film. Just didn't really grab me at all.
No, it's sort of one of the, I mean, what watching it, I sort of when it got to the, it's quite a short film. It's only 3.5 minutes, I think.
Something like that. Yeah.
Um, and sort of got to the end, and I've like, when the credits rolled, I'm like, is that it? And I
Yeah.
don't mean it as in a bad way, but I'm expecting a bit more.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, the same because I think it was they had some good bits to it. It didn't grab me when I sat there. Like sort of getting to the end with a lot of films we watched, and I'm like, oh wow, okay. But this,
Yeah.
I was like, I wasn't hooked.
Yeah. No, I agree. Okay, on to our feature film. Now, the feature film this week is from 2002, and it's the film Ghost Ship.
I didn't realise I was 22 years old.
Yeah. Director is Steve Beck. Writers Mark Hanlon and John Pogue. Cast of Gabriel Byrne, Juliana Margulies, Ron Ellard, Desmond Harrington, Isaiah Washington, Alex Demetriades, Carl Urban, Emily Browning, and Francesca Rettendini.
Yes.
There are a few others, but they're the main ones. The synopsis for this film says a salvage crew discovers a long lost 1962 passenger ship floating lifeless in a remote region of the Bering Sea, and soon notices that its long dead inhabitants may still be on board. I saw this film years ago,
Yeah.
probably not long after it came out, um, and I'd forgotten just how good it is.
I will say, I'll just say, I agree with you totally. That this film normally it takes a good 20 minutes into a film for me to go, all right, yeah, I'm hooked. This film had me within the first minute. Not even that.
It has,
The opening scene to this, I think, is one of the best ones if any film has ever been made.
yeah, it's got to be the best opening of any horror film.
Yeah, it's just straight away that hook that the just how it opened, and I sat there, and it's one of the few films I still now after watching it, I think it must be into at least 20 odd times I've seen this film now, and I still sit there, and it just amazes me the detail that is in it, but just the gruesomeness for a start. But it's such a hook, such a
Yeah,
great start.
it is absolutely brilliant. I mean, you gotta say, I mean, it's a really great story and idea. It works so well. The acting is excellent. I mean, yeah, the cinematography and lighting in it are brilliant, and some of the effects are just incredible.
Yeah, what I liked about it, or what I still love about it, it's one of the few. I know this is like we said, it's 23 years old, and how far certain effects have gone in this time, like since then. How much this still stands up with the effects.
Absolutely.
It's still look at it, and you're like, you can't tell the fact that there's like that's CGI.
Well,
That's done
the thing is,
differently.
there wasn't as much CGI available then.
No,
A lot of these things were done with like miniatures and
yeah,
like real physical effects. It's just quite incredible.
yeah, and I'd say like we said, like the cast of this is well, it's not a small cast, really.
No,
It's a lot of them did go on and do bigger things as well, and they've done like like I know Carl Urban blew up his career massively after this as well. A lot of them did, and a lot of them had massive careers at the time.
yeah,
So for them to do this, it just shows the sort of how much they all went. This film is just it's worth it, and I love this film, and I'm saying it's just all the effects to it. Special effects, the lighting effects that were done to it, the sort of the set design as well. I've got to admit, out of all the films we've watched for this, the set design I love
yeah,
because it's that sort of the rusted ship bit, but it still looks slimy. It still looks sort of gruesome, and you're like, it's that both having that effect in both bits, and it makes you chill.
yeah.
That sort of that spine tingling sort of bit. Go, oh, okay.
I mean,
Uh,
there are some fairly well used sort of set pieces of things you expect to happen in a horror film, and there are a few jump scares which aren't exactly, they're not ones that haven't been done before, but
yeah.
they're done so well. Um, but there are two things I like about this film on top of all of that. The first is the fact that, spoiler alert here, good doesn't win out over evil.
No.
And the second thing is the fact that it was left open for a possible sequel and they never made one.
What I loved about this is the fact that as well, it was of a time as well where I know a lot of people were dealing with the whole were more fascinated with the whole Bermuda Triangle thing, the ship disappearing and
Yeah,
reappearing without crews or floating ships, and this they played right into that audience.
yeah, yeah,
And like you said, it wasn't the fact that like the way they left it is gone. We're going to make a franchise out of this. It was we're going to leave it like that. If you want to carry it on, carry on. If not, he's perfect
Yeah, I
because it's
mean,
that whole sense of mystery of
I
what
mean,
was happened.
they could quite easily have made a sequel to this, but because it is left that open. But as I say, I'm glad they didn't because I just think that it works perfectly well as a standalone film, and I don't think that you need to make sequels all the time.
No. And Sam, I genuinely love this film because of the fact,
Mm.
like you said, it's one of the few horror films that didn't try making a didn't go out to make a film to make a sequel. It was done because of the fact that they wanted to make that film, and I think it was done perfectly.
Yeah, it's an excellent film, and I think all of the characters or all of the actors play their characters really well.
Yeah,
And the characters are really well defined and really well laid
and
out.
I thinking about it, I don't think thinking about what I know of certain actors now, I don't think there was many people around that could have played that role as well as like it's almost like their personalities. I know obviously you do as an actor you change them, but
Yeah, yeah,
they are them characters, and
yeah,
I
I know
think
what you mean.
it's very well done. And I can't honestly find a fault with this film.
No,
I have done before, and I quite happily pick fault in a lot of films that we watch, but this I love watching, and like saying I could quite happily go back and watch it so many times.
yeah, yeah. It's a great film, and I agree with you. I think it's one of the few films I've ever seen where I've never had picked a fault in it or been able to go, well, hang on a minute, or whatever.
Yeah, like I've watched films where we had the conversation beforehand about sort of bits with Final Destination with it's like where they sit there and you can go pick little bit of faults in it, little bit niggly little bits, but with this I can't.
No,
It's such a good film, and I think it's like I said, it was done at the right time without it causing an issue. Well, not causing an issue, but it was done at the right time for people to go, we're invested in this.
yeah, yeah.
and the fact and the fact that, like I said, that they didn't try making a franchise. They didn't try pushing it. They just left it the way they did.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's great. I love this film, and I think it's a great horror movie.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you for your input and everything.
Right.
So
That's
there we
absolutely.
are. Short films. We have Luz from 2025, which was not a bad film, but we didn't really get it. The story didn't really grab us. Didn't know what it was about or anything really. Then we have Get Out from 2024, which is a decent enough film, not bad, not completely original, but it's a pretty good film. And I think the editing makes the film. Um,
Yeah.
and then we have Ghost Ship from 2002, which we both agreed is a brilliant film, and I would recommend it to anyone to watch.
Definitely a. It still amazes me the fact that it's as gruesome as it is. It's still only a 15.
Yeah, I know.
It sort of does amaze me. I look at stuff like that and I'm like, there's way less stuff out there that's not as gruesome as this that has been rated like 18s and even R ratings in America. And
Yeah,
then like
yeah,
this one's just like basically the PG 13, 15 sort of. It's gruesome, but you're okay to watch it.
yeah, yeah. No, it's definitely a good film to watch, and I enjoyed it very much. Okay, well, we will be back again with another show next time. Next time, things are going to be a little different. Um, we're supposed to be doing sci-fi. The feature film we're going to be doing is listed as being sci-fi horror. So I don't know. I've never seen it. It's a film that Scott has picked and chosen because he said it's a film that he loves.
It's all right. Without giving too much away, it's just to be a surprise for next week. It's a film I got introduced to by a good friend of mine. It was one of her favourites. Um, we sat one night, she had brought over DVD and we just watched it, and I was hooked. I loved it because it was just such a bizarre take, and obviously the stars that are in it shocked me for the fact that they could do like they were in this for a start. It's just one of them films that I sat there and it hooked me straight away, and I love it.
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to it with trepidation, shall we say? Uh,
I will say, just I know I've hyped it up, but obviously, just take it with a pinch of salt. I like it, but it's a good film that I think's reasonably good.
okay.
Really.
Well, no, it's we both choose films different times for this, and we'll see what happens. Okay. Thank you very much, Scott. Thank you to everybody out there for watching, listening, tuning in on a piece of string tied to a rock, um, rubbing your hair with a stick and holding it up in the air and hoping that you could pick up the signal somewhere. Um, or indeed, listening through your ears. Um,
What, listening through your eyeballs?
no, obviously. Um, we will return. Until we do,
Yes.
bye.
Bye.
The Sciforror Film Podcast.